I started this world with several huge projects in mind, but the first one I wanted to finish is a homestead, a starter homestead that could be wholesome and beautiful and just exactly what I wanted before spreading out into the world. You see, last time my plans changed a little bit. I intended to go to the end and get my elytra, but instead we settled for upgrading our armor with this beautiful new look. The plan for today is to follow this little bit of path back and create a new build. I want to add to the homestead by creating a map building. The purpose of a map building is to store the maps of our world. We're going to put it right here, and then we are going to move about the entire area that we have designed so that we can record where we've built so far. The main reason I'm doing this is because I'm looking for inspiration on what to build in the world next. I do have a lot of really big plans for the future, but some of those really just require that we get the game updated first so that I can expand out a little bit further. Until then, we will settle with inspiration. Inspiration from building a map. Before you go anywhere, you should know this is going to look a lot cooler than it sounds. I already have an idea on how we're going to do the build. I've run into an odd problem. I'm in the middle of the build right now, and I think I might want the land to come up just a little bit. Like maybe we do a staircase there and then move the door up. Part of the reason I'm thinking that is because it's pretty tall already, and I really like anytime you can change the level of the floor in a house. I think right now seems like a really good opportunity to make these kind of changes before I get further along with the build. Right now I have this beautiful copper roof on top of the tower, but I really want it to have the oranges to sort of match the brown and reds that are going on in here. So we definitely need to wax it, at least some of it. Fortunately, I have honeycombs, so I can leave it in place too. So that's the next step. Kind of go around and decide how far I want each to go. I'm going to do it in like little strips. So have a little strip of orange and then kind of do another strip of the green and back and forth. That's, wow. Okay. And back up again. The inside of this beautiful windmill has everything you might need to make maps and organize them. Oh, all the things. But more importantly, this room in here is going to be our big, full map room. My plan is to place these item frames all along the floor in here, the full entire area. And then we will make maps for everything. And then we can put the maps down and look at the whole world. We'll put some glass over the top so we can walk over it and everything. And I'm really excited to see how far we can view. Now I just have the simple yet tedious task of filling in all the maps and putting them all back in the right order, which can be kind of a tricky thing to do. I finished 6 of the tiles, which I love. This is my entire homestead, which is so fun to see, and I can tell now we probably need to do another build over here, and I've been using this space to grow trees. I could probably use something there too. The point is that this already takes up a lot of the map, and I really don't want just the homestead to take up most of the map rooms. So I think what I need to do is go ahead and stick some maps in here. Is it maps or paper? Maps? No, a map duplicates it. Here's our map. Paper shrinks the size. So this is going to give us a much better perspective on how far we go in the world. In fact, we might even go one further than that. I think that's going to be the plan. So I have a lot of work to do. I'll see you guys back when I finish my world map. I finished the map, you guys. I mean, I know I meant to go all the way out here in these other areas, but this is my 1000 by 1000 border, so I couldn't go out any further beyond it. It was actually a lot of work. It was more work than I expected, and I did find a couple of really cool things. For example, on this beach down here, I found some turtles and picked up some turtle eggs, which is new for me, so that was kind of cool. There is a lot of grassland down here, just a ton of big wide open space with no mountains, and it's not very distinguishable, but it could be good for some different types of themes and builds in the future, and we can always plant trees if we need to. So here is what we're looking at. Spawn is right here, the campsite spawn from the first episode, and then we did a big old path up here to the homestead. From the homestead, I took a big old path down and put together Jelly's memorial tree. It's on the hill here in the middle of this little meadow. In between those, of course, is Seaboard College, where all of our villager trading is. That's that whole village we put together. And just kind of part of that, we went and discovered the Oracle, which is up here in the mountains. You guys probably didn't know where I put that. If you go from the homestead straight up, you'll see this is where my storage center is. It is this big, huge chunk of mountain right here that has a path that goes all the way through and comes out somewhere about here. This entire valley here, which needs a lot of terraforming work. It has a big old gorge in the middle and other such things. This is where I want to put a capital city. I feel like the capital city will probably go this entire area, plus probably up into here a little bit, which of course I can't do yet because I can't go up this far. In fact, the 1000 border line is like right here. If you're wondering about how I got the cherry trees, that is very smart of you. You see, in the very first episode when I started exploring my world, I had the 1000 border in mind, but I didn't have the F3 screen on the whole time to see where I was going. The cherry tree biome is right here. It is outside of my 1000, but it's also someplace I found before I really started keeping track of that very well. And since I already discovered it, I sort of adopted this chunk of this square just because I found it before I was being strict about the rules. All things considered, this gives us a lot of room to grow and build and explore and kind of put together some fun different themes. I'm feeling like maybe this island should be its own theme, for example. There's a village over here, so that's very convenient. And the Guardian farm, I can see it. It's like right over here somewhere. So we may end up needing to spend a lot of time down there in the future. On the other side of the map, there's a village with a big lake through the middle of it, and it seems like it might be kind of fun. That one might be fun to terraform into something in the future. And then there's this big old lake here that's just completely surrounded by land. And then across the way, of course, a meadow that's just huge and begging for some type of build or thing or something. It's fun to look at the whole entire world from this angle. It really gives you a neat perspective onto the space that you're working with. And I can tell that the homestead is already quite big. There's room for a couple more builds in here, and I think then the homestead will just need some farms and it'll be complete. I don't want it to grow into an entire village. I want it to remain a quaint little farm area. Well, with that in mind, maybe the goal should be to finish off the homestead officially. It might take some time, but it kind of seems exciting. Really, truly finishing an entire area, I think we'll do it. The map, in fact, has inspired me to just go ahead and finish the homestead. Then we can pack up supplies a little bit and start working on a couple of new areas. I've got an obnoxious problem. I run out of honeycomb. This little set that I've got here, this is the last. This is the last of the honeycomb that I have. So I think the next expansion to the homestead is going to be fairly obvious. At the moment, my bees are inside of the second silo. I come over here, I pick up the shears, and then I pop in real fast. And it's just the two, it's this, you know, it's not, and the bees, they're like stuck down there or something. Anyhow, this is not a long-term plan. We need to put a real honeycomb farm together. And I'm thinking over there. With more space, not only can we have more bees to get more supplies, but we can set up for honeycomb as well as honey, and we can put together a beautiful build. Here is what I have as far as a foundation in place, which might look a little bit strange. Given the space that I'm working with, I really wanted to do a diagonal build. Those can be a little tricky, but my plan is to make this diagonal build a beautiful indoor greenhouse. And then there's a big building in back, and this is where we're going to put the farm. The first thing I want to do is actually put the automated farm in place. It's just a lot easier when you don't have the build up. That way I can change the floor plan if I need to just a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the automatic bee farm in, and then we'll come back and do a full build. I think this is such a fun build. Just coming up to it, there are so many colors, and that's one thing I really wanted, was to experiment with different things. If I take you inside, you'll see I made everything inside just as lush and green and overgrown and crazy as it could possibly be, so that the bees could really thrive in their new space. Over here in the greenhouse, same thing. I love having this beautiful green space and adding in some of the more unique things even from the nether. I think it's kind of fun, even though the building is a little bit unique. I wanted to try out some different color palettes, and I really wanted the build to stand out and look different from the rest of the homestead. Speaking of the rest of the homestead, I think we are so close to finishing that we need to just do it. I'm going to add in some fields and trees and finally finish my homestead project. It's been a couple of months working on this project, but I have to tell you what, it is so worth it. Everything in this entire area is just perfect, exactly how I wanted it to be. Wholesome and cute and detailed and interesting and functional. And I just am really pleased that one of the areas is absolutely done. Check it out. I'm updating the map. I love watching new builds just appear when you have a new map on it. It's gonna look so cool. Isn't that fun? Check out the homestead on the map now. It's so big. Oh, and then this map in here is the big map just of the homestead. I am so excited to see so much progress. Look how cool the fields look on the map. It looks even better than I expected it to. Okay, I like the maps, okay? I just think it's fun. Check out these final shots with shaders on. Thank you for joining me on this journey so far. I cannot wait to get started on the next area. With that, I hope you all have the best Minecraft day.